Hi everyone, welcome back to Feeding Ravendoodles, a pet parent's guide to nutrition. Today's topic is grain fillers in pet foods. Many pet parents have heard the term fillers, but some still wonder what they actually are. What's their definition? Some pet parents wonder why they're in pet foods, wonder if they're even good sources of nutrition, if they're safe for our pets to eat, and if they cause food allergies. Some pet parents wonder if they should avoid grain fillers in pet food and feed a grain-free diet. So I'm here to answer all your questions and more. The term fillers is not actually defined by the Association of American Feed Control Officials, also known as AFCO, so it has no official or legal definition. Fillers is often used to describe certain ingredients in a pet diet, usually those that contribute a source of fiber or carbohydrates like traditional grains, such as corn, wheat, soy, or rice. Some people also use the term fillers to describe byproducts and meat meal, and you can check out my video, Byproducts and Meat Meal, for more information on that topic. Since fillers has no official definition, people can use it any way they like, and usually it's used as a derogatory term to put down certain ingredients in the diet, like those traditional grains. People believe that grains produce poor sources of nutrition, or they're used as a cheap fill for the diet to add some bulk, but really no substance. But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. Grains can actually be a great source of nutrition for your pet. Yes, dogs and cats can digest and utilize the nutrients found in grains. It is a myth that they can't digest these ingredients. The myth largely, I believe, comes from the apparent indigestibility of ingredients like corn. So a pet food containing corn is not the same as your dog or cat walking out into a cornfield, grabbing an ear of corn off the stalk, and consuming it in its whole form. It is quite true that in its whole, unprocessed and uncooked form, corn is very hard to digest. But during processing and cooking, the physical structure of that plant changes, and it makes the plant more digestible and much more bioavailable to the animal that's eating it. Despite popular belief, grains can actually provide a great source of nutrition to your pet's diet. Remember the difference between nutrients and ingredients. Nutrients are going to be those essential components of the diet that are necessary for your pet's life, such as protein, fats, fiber, minerals, vitamins, moisture, and many more. Ingredients are simply the source of these nutrients. The name of an ingredient tells you absolutely nothing about the quality of the ingredient, and it tells you nothing about its nutrient profile. This information can be found in nutrition textbooks, scientific papers, or from the pet food company if they do their own research. Ingredients like corn, soy, wheat, and rice can provide many nutrients to your pet's diet, such as protein, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and carbohydrates. There are a few scientific terms used to describe the quality of protein that is found in certain ingredients. The first being percent protein, which simply tells how much of that ingredient is actually made up of protein. The second term is chemical score. This is going to indicate how the ingredient's amino acid profile compares to an ideal. The ideal is egg because it has a great amino acid profile. Amino acids are simply the building blocks of proteins, and the amino acid profile is how many amino acids and in what quantity they're found in the ingredients. The third term is biologic value. This is going to tell what percent of absorbed protein is kept in the animal's body to be utilized, and this is going to tell you how well the body can actually use the protein that it gets from the diet. As you can see from this table, corn, wheat, soy, and rice have chemical scores and biological values that are pretty similar to meat. They do contribute less protein, but they contribute other nutrients to the diet and help round out the diet. In pet foods, different ingredients are combined to give a better range of nutrition. Dogs and cats each require more than 40 nutrients to be in their diet so that they can live a healthy life. Grains are added to diets so they can give a more diverse range of nutrients and to balance out the ratios of fat, protein, and carbohydrates in that diet. Some grains are less expensive sources of protein than meats, so they can be used to complement the protein that's given by a meat. And if the diet is formulated properly, they can even contribute some similar nutrition. It is very difficult and expensive to create a diet that's made without grains. Carbohydrate sources are also necessary to be in kibbles because they are a binding agent to make that kibble shape. They're also necessary in canned or wet food diets in the form of pectins and gums, which are also binding agents. So carbohydrate sources do have to be in commercial pet foods. Grains have been a scapegoat for food allergies for quite some time now. Food allergies are extremely rare. Most animals that have allergies have environmental allergies. Allergies to corn, soy, wheat, and rice are even rarer than allergies to meat proteins, which are more commonly making up the pets that have food allergies. Proteins are large molecules that can cause an immune response in the pet. So the most frequent ingredients that we see implicated in food allergies are beef, chicken, dairy, and fish because they're commonly seen in pet food. The reason these ingredients are typically implicated in food allergy cases is because they're in many diets on the market, so it's just the most common allergens out there. It doesn't mean that they're toxic or bad for your pet, so you don't have to avoid these ingredients just because they are the most common allergens. If you do think your pet has a food allergy, definitely contact their usual veterinarian. They can help you do a food elimination trial or get you in contact with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist who can help you out with this. And the food elimination trial is going to determine what your pet is allergic to. It is important to note that hair tests, skin biopsies, and blood tests are ineffective and they're not at all recommended because there's no scientific evidence that backs up that their results are actually accurate. Avoiding grains is absolutely unnecessary, and it's not recommended unless the pet has been diagnosed by a veterinarian with a food allergy to a specific grain like corn, wheat, soy, or rice. Grains are going to provide nutrients, complement the nutrition in the diet, balance it out, and help save the pet owner money. Grain-free diets are not free of fillers or carbohydrates. They have other ingredients that are not traditionally thought of as fillers, but they are used for the same purpose as traditional grains. Purposes like binding agents and sources of fiber and carbohydrates. These ingredients are usually going to include potato, sweet potato, lentils, peas, fruits, quinoa, tapioca, beans, or chickpeas, among many other ingredients that are not found in diets that contain traditional grains. These ingredients tend to be more sugar dense, have less protein and fiber, and so they're actually poorer sources of nutrition than traditional grains are. So the other thing too about grain-free is that the ingredients that they use are a lot more expensive than traditional grains. So these grain-free diets are much more expensive than diets that include traditional grains. Grain-free does not mean carbohydrate-free. Even if it did, putting your pet on a carb-free diet is not necessary or advisable. Carbohydrates are one of the 3 macronutrients next to proteins and fats, and they help balance diets out. Carbohydrates also include fiber, which is going to help your pet feel full. And carbohydrate-free diets, also known as keto diets, are extremely wasteful, expensive, and they're going to include much more protein and fat than your pet actually needs to have in their diet, so much of those nutrients are just going to be wasted by the pet. The idea behind grain-free is not based in science. There is absolutely no scientific evidence that grain-free diets are more healthy or nutritious than diets that contain traditional grains. It's purely a marketing ploy and was used to get more money from pet owners who are willing to spend money on something that they believe is higher quality but is actually not so. The reason that pet food manufacturers can jack up the prices of their grain-free diets is because, one, their ingredients are much more expensive than the ingredients that are found in diets with traditional grains, and 2, pet owners believe that they're paying for higher quality when they're really not. Grain-free diets, along with other formulations, are linked to a debilitating heart disease in dogs called dilated cardiomyopathy. The only way to reverse this heart disease is actually to switch the dog off of a grain-free diet to a grain-containing diet. Board-certified cardiologists, nutritionists, other veterinarians, and scientists are working tirelessly at the moment to try and figure out what the mechanism is behind grain-free diets and other diets possibly causing heart disease, but as of right now, they do not know the mechanism. The FDA is also investigating this link. So at this time, it is recommended by professionals, board-certified cardiologists and nutritionists, not to feed grain-free diets until we know more about the link between diet and dilated cardiomyopathy. The term ancient grains has no legal definition that is set out by AAFCO, nor does it have a true definition by the Whole Grains Council, which is a human food organization. Ancient grains is a term used to describe grains that have not been genetically modified or changed by selective breeding over several hundred years. So this is going to include grains like black barley, red and black rice, blue corn, sorghum, millet, quinoa, buckwheat, and wild rice. Ancient grains are usually marketed to be more nutritious than traditional or refined grains, but this isn't really the case. Again, remember the definition of nutrients and the difference between nutrients and ingredients. Different ingredients are going to provide different nutrient profiles to a food. Pet food manufacturers who advertise ancient grains as being more nutritious or more healthy than traditional grains are engaging in fear-based marketing and really perpetuating pseudoscience. Some of these grains may have a more rounded nutrient profile than traditional grains, but that's not true for all of them. Also, keep in mind that grains are not the sole source of nutrition for our dog and cat companions. They're added and mixed to a diet with many, many different ingredients, and that often doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when we're talking about the nutrient profile of the diet as a whole. Pet food manufacturers who use ancient grains to create their diets are paying a lot more for their ingredients. Because these ingredients have a bigger share of the human market, they are more expensive. And so this cost reflects in the price of the bag of pet food. Again, just like with grain-free diets, diets made with ancient grains are going to be more expensive and sometimes more appealing to pet owners because of this bigger price tag. But again, you're not paying for quality, you're not paying for science, you're paying for marketing. Diets that are marketed with no corn, wheat, or soy, again, are going to be just like those grain-free diets. Different ingredients are going to be used to fill the hole that corn, wheat, and soy have left when they're not used in the diet anymore. It is purely a marketing ploy. And again, remember the difference between nutrients and ingredients. Different ingredients are going to provide the same nutrition at the end of the day. Manufacturers who market this way with the no label are really playing on consumer fears, and this is called fear-based marketing, and it's very, very prevalent in the pet food industry. So they use their baseless claims and their big labels to scare pet owners into buying their foods. These pet food manufacturers do not have any of their claims backed up by science, and it's best to avoid them. Choosing a reliable pet food manufacturer is going to help you avoid fear-based marketing, and for more information, you can see How to Pick a Pet Food Part 1. Thank you so much for watching this popular topics video on grain fillers in pet foods. I hope it cleared up any confusion that you might have had about grains in pet foods. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the topic or suggestions for future videos. Also check out that video's description below where I give you all the links to the resources that I used to make this video as well as extra reading material. Next time we're going to be talking about another popular topic, the veterinarian's relationship with the pet food industry. Bye, Raven!